So it is the 30th anniversary of the original Game Boy, and it is one of my favorite systems of all time. My favorite handheld of all time, because there's so many great games to play on it. And just recently, just a couple days ago, I did Backlight, my little fantastic clear, whatever you call it, original Game Boy, the Fat Boy Game Boy. And I love it. I love these games. Zelda, Link's Awakening, Final Fantasy Adventure, the Super Mario Brothers games. There's so much awesomeness for the original Game Boy. But I remember really loving the system, but then really loving the Game Boy Color as well. It's a little smaller. It's like the Game Boy Pocket, but we had that color screen and a lot of exclusive games and upgraded games for it, like Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, which was flipping amazing. And a long while back, I wound up getting this front-lit kit. Actually, this one was already done by somebody. I got this for like 20 bucks because they screwed up the Loca, which I tried to fix it. I kind of fixed it all right. But just using the front-lit Game Boy Color, it just was not doing it for me. It's not bad, but it's almost like I could use one of those worm lights and get better results. So I never really used this thing. And now I'm like super happy because I'm gonna get some use out of this Game Boy with it being in such good condition and be modding that thing. Well, I mean, the front light's okay, but that was the only option we had for the longest time. Anything was better than using the original screen with no light at all. I mean, I'd have to shine it in my lights here to actually see it. And I mean, and then it was kind of like, well, it's color, but you don't really see the color too much. So that was kind of a downer. There's been some expensive, crazy mods for the Game Boy Color, some, you know, the Game Boy Advance screen, and, you know, the things have evolved. Originally, that thing, you couldn't close the system right. Then there was some little one-offs that people did. But as far as like a solution that anybody has access to, can easily do, there hasn't been anything until now. There's a couple solutions out there. The Freckle Shack, from what I understand, from Ben Venn, which I have not had the chance to mess with that yet. And then also one name that I'm very familiar with, and that is McWill. And here we go. Look at that screen. Yeah, we're using the EverDrive, my bad. This is amazing. The McWill screen for the Game Gear was awesome. For the Atari Lynx, which I had done not too long ago, that was awesome. This is a dream come true for me. Getting to play my Game Boy Advance, or my Game Boy Color, as if it was a Game Boy Advance, essentially. So this mod, it's actually not very hard to do. So what I wanted to do was kind of explain some things, because we're going to do a follow-up video on this where we actually open up one of these two, probably the front lit one, and do that mod live on video, show you how it's done. This was the first one I did, and it was a success. Took me a little while to figure some stuff out with it, to be honest with you, because the documentation that is available and included, it's not that it's hard to follow, it's just some things are a little vague here. The components you need. Now, when you get one of these McWill kits, the ones I ordered, they came shipped like this. Just came in a little static baggie to protect it. Little anti-static bag. You get your screen and then your little oscillator. So, let me set that. I shouldn't be throwing that around, man. I'm gonna break it, right? So what it includes is gonna be this screen, and then this little thing right here. Yeah, this little microscopic chip, as you can see. So this little oscillator, it has 4 little pads on it. And this was the thing, I probably can't even focus on it. That thing is so tiny. And that's probably the biggest challenge on this thing, is soldering your wires to that and then, you know, accessing everything you need. This is the problem. This is the thing that makes it a little difficult, but it's still not crazy. This stuff though, just, man, I had such a difficult time understanding that. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know, but I really wanted to get this thing going, and we did get it after I figured some things out. So to set you up on what you need in order to do this mod, like I said, we're gonna do a full tutorial in the next video that I'm recording right after this. You're gonna need your kit. They go for about 75 bucks on console5.com. Currently they are sold out, but I'm sure they'll get them back in. You also need some wire. The kit does not come with wire. I have tons of wire everywhere, all sorts of different colors and whatnot. Really, like a couple strands like this. I would say this is probably 4-inch strands. Having like 2 of these should be fine, and then just cutting them in half and having 4 pieces, and then stripping the ends and tinning the ends of those with your solder. So you will need a soldering iron, obviously, and then a little bit of solder. Boom. That's the easy stuff. This does not come pre-soldered or anything, so you will have to, the little oscillator, you will have to hit all 4 of those pads. Not crazy. The other thing you'll need, like a little X-Acto knife, because there is a slight system modification you have to do to remove some plastic. And some people, I think they're gonna prefer doing the Freckle Shack Ben Ven mod over this, because that one you don't have to solder. It's pretty much a drop-in solution, but I like McWill. I like the work he's done, and I've had previous experience with it, and they were available when I wanted it, so I grabbed them. The other thing that might come in handy is like some little electronic tweezers. I don't know what these are called, but you know, for electronics. This kit right here that I have with screwdrivers and whatnot comes with those. Now I also have a ton of them anyway. And then you will need, that also comes in that kit. Link will be in the description if you're interested. You'll need a Phillips head and a tri-wing screwdriver. These 2.0 ones work, so you'll need those. Some wire strippers might come in handy, and then also some Kapton tape. I did use some of this to protect everything on the board. What else do we need here? This is the one thing. Some electrical tape. Why would you need electrical tape for this mod? Well, here's the thing. With this screen, I'm touching the screen, but there's a protective layer on there right now, which you would peel off. If you drop this into your system, this edge, the left and right edge, like this is the top, this is the bottom. The bottom and the top, that silver metal, that shiny metal, is blocked by the lens here. You don't see this metal, but the left and right, you could see it slightly. So I took some electrical tape. I did have black masking tape, but it didn't look good. So I used electrical tape, laid it out across there, trimmed it, because you didn't really want it going over too much, because then it won't fit in the case properly. But that's about it. You don't really need much of anything else. Now, just to kind of get us started on here, get that cartridge out. And yes, I did get my Eneloop batteries. I'm not using those dollar store batteries, so don't trip, you know what I'm saying? So in the back here on the Game Boy Color, we're gonna take out, I'm just gonna show you real quick how easy it is to get into the system, and then I will be recording the next part of doing this mod. But you have 6 tri-wing screws in there, so you'll need the tri-wing screwdriver. Not a big deal. Set that aside. And this is a lot easier to work on and to get into than like a Game Boy Pocket or even a Game Boy DMG, because this is just one board. Everything is there. You don't have to take a bunch of stuff apart. So this is a lot easier to work on and to do this mod. And hopefully from my struggles of figuring this out, I'll be able to help some people. I'm no expert at this kind of stuff, especially soldering, but with you know, the little bit of soldering you have to do, it's definitely not crazy. If you've done a backlight mod on the DMG, you shouldn't have a problem doing this mod. I think that mod is a little more work, you know, with removing the screen and peeling off the back layer of the screen and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a lot more physical work, I guess. This just has a little more soldering work going on. But there we go. We got the back half off, and then we don't need the tri-wing screwdriver anymore. And then from here, we will have, what is it? Just 3 screws. Phillips head at the bottom. Boom. So I'm going to show you real quick the tiny little spot that you have to solder on, just to get you prepped. And then we'll have the other part of this video up tomorrow. But I am simply amazed with this thing, with this mod, the results that I got. It looks great. It looks better than a Game Boy Advance screen. And that is saying a lot, because the screen is pretty good on that system. And then the ribbon cable, we will want to pop up these, the little catches on the side there, and then pop it out. It is a strong cable. Don't worry too much. And then boom. Now to get the actual LCD out, it can be, or the original screen, not the LCD, but the original screen. We get all the buttons out, and our power slider. In the Game Boy Color, the power slider goes on the side, so don't forget about that. But getting this screen out, you kind of want to flex the case a little bit. Not enough to break it or anything, but boom, it's out. So we don't need this part anymore. And then we do have this sticky layer, this sticker, this double-sided tape. We would want to take that off as well. And the little infrared top piece might fall off, might stay in place, but you can go ahead and remove that. And then from here, this one's pretty clean, but this one, when I did this one, I had to clean it up. There were bugs living inside this one. But this is your chance to clean everything up, get the buttons all cleaned up. This is a plastic screen. The other thing I'm always recommending doing is putting a glass screen on there, so we will pop that off. But here, to try to pinpoint to you guys exactly where we're going to be soldering to for this project, let's try to zoom up as best as we can. So C28, if you could see that up here, up top toward where the ribbon cable would go, you'd want to drop a little bit of solder on that top part of that capacitor, or that cap, whatever the hell it is, right? Like I said, I'm no expert, man. I don't know what everything's called here. You want to drop a little solder on there, and then up here you're also gonna have another solder point. This is a ground plate, so you'll put a little dot there, and 2 of the wires from this little tiny oscillator. Come on, can you focus, oscillator? Probably not, but let's get it to where you can actually see it anyway. Hopefully you can see it. But there's going to be 2 spots, and that's where that documentation kind of is a little confusing. But there's going to be 2 spots. It's going to be the pin 1 and pin 4. Those 2, which are going to be, and I'm going to try to blow this up for you, but when you're looking at the top of this oscillator, there's a series of letters, and looking at it like as if you're reading it, there's going to be a little dot below it, and that dot on the underneath, that's pin 1, and then up top is pin 4, and then over is pin 3, and then pin 2. So you have to keep that in mind. That was what kept throwing me off, because you're going to have to do pin 1 and pin 4. So flipping it over, pin 1 and pin 4 would be on this side, and then pin 3 and pin 2 would be on the other side. So pin 1 and 4, you would put a wire. I mean, obviously not this long of a wire, but you would solder those in, and then the end connection, both of them from pin 1 and 4 would go to that point, that C28 on the top closest to there. And then pin 3 on the oscillator would go to that ground. Pretty simple stuff. Pin 2, actually, let me take that back. Pin 2 is ground, my bad. Pin 2 would go there. And then pin 3 from the oscillator to our LCD screen would actually go up here. And this one I've already got a dot of solder on there, but it would be soldered in right there. And then the process of routing your cables and whatnot, that's kind of the thing that you got to figure out on your own, but we'll do our best to showcase that to you guys. I was just super excited. Really wanted to get this shown to you guys. The one thing too, and some people trip out, is if you're using like a Game Boy EverDrive, sometimes your first power on, the screen won't come on. You just power it on and off and it comes back on. If you're using just original games, you shouldn't have that issue, but with the EverDrive, because of the power draw and those kind of things, you may have to power on and off twice to get it going. I've only had that happen to me a couple times, but just wanted to point that out. Not a huge deal, but flippin' sweet. So hopefully this video helps a little bit, get you a little excited about this mod, because I'm excited. I'm gonna be doing a few of these, man. But we will be doing a follow-up, doing this exact mod for you guys so you can see. But man, simply amazing. Look at that. Beautiful. So really do appreciate you guys. I can't wait to share this with you. So have fun. Happy birthday, Game Boy. And I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye. And boom. Bye.